Hello and welcome to Liberty Nation TV with your host, Jeff Charles. Elon Musk has taken over Twitter and it has made the progressives all a titter as they melt down over this new development. Musk has promised to make the platform safe for free speech. But what exactly might this look like going forward? Well, I have with me Liberty Nation's editor-at-large, Jim Fight, to discuss this whole thing. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thanks, Jeff. It's good to be back on LNTV.
Definitely. Yes, this is the place to be.
It is. It's the place. It's better than Twitter.
Yeah, at least for now.
Yeah, so we'll see where things go.
Yeah, so with this whole thing with Musk buying Twitter, what have you been seeing? I know you don't do Twitter the way I do Twitter because I'm a little bit addicted. You don't have that problem, which is good. But what have you been seeing on the interwebs in response to this whole thing with Musk buying the platform?
Man, I use Twitter for exactly what I think Twitter is best for, and that's entertainment. You know, I mean, I want to see those trolling tweets. That's the good stuff. If I want news, I'll go to the news. But right now, people are just losing their minds, Jeff. And there's all kind of allegations. You know, Donald Trump is coming back. The world's going to end. Twitter is going to be some new, Nazi coalition. It's just going to be an echo chamber of evil.
An echo chamber of evil. I like that. I might have to steal that.
Dude, it just came out. That was completely extemporaneous. Like I'm gonna like trademark that or something. That was good.
You should. That's like the cyber version of Axis of evil.
It is. It is.
So, but, I've been noticing that the left is already attacking Elon Musk and even Twitter itself because there was supposedly this uptick in the use of the N-word. Now, what do you make of that whole thing?
Well, I guess it just proves they were right. Once Musk took over, all the racists in the world decided they had to get on Twitter. They weren't there yet, Jeff, but now they are. Now they have permission. It's ridiculous. I read to be clear, it does actually seem like there is an uptick in the use of the word, but the ridiculous part is to assume that this is because now all of a sudden all these racists are coming out of the woodwork. The head of security for Twitter, the cybersecurity, actually posted, I don't remember now if it was yesterday or the day before, talking about how there was like 50,000 posts in the last 48 hours with that particular slur, as he put it, and which I suppose is a safer way to say it as any. But that they all came from about 300 accounts, and that most of those were just inauthentic accounts that just sprang up all of a sudden. He posits that it's a coordinated trolling campaign, like a false flag attack, basically. Like it's to make it look like all of a sudden it's the Wild West. You can do whatever you want, and but he clarified that no rules have actually changed yet.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly what he said. His name was Yoel Roth, and right. 300 accounts. Like, of course they were going to troll. Of course this was going to happen. And it's being done by it was being done by 300 different accounts, many of which, or probably even most of which, weren't even real.
Actual people, right?
Yeah, exactly. But still, they use this as proof that Musk is going to Nazify the platform, even though they haven't changed any rules yet, like you said.
Yeah.
Like, Musk,
come on. Yeah. I mean, 300 accounts, that's quite a spread, right? I mean, 50,000 occurrences from just 300 accounts in 48 hours. And that's not the norm for 300 accounts. I mean, it'd be different if it's like, well, Musk bought Twitter and the same 300 accounts are, they're at it again. But I mean, that's kind of an obviously there's something fishy here.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take much brain power to see that, this wasn't organic, this wasn't real. Right. And even if it was, that means that they could have set this stuff under the old rules, which are still in effect, and then there would have been an issue. So nobody's going to say that the old owners were Nazifying the platform. It's absolutely absurd. But right. Here's the thing. So Musk, he sent a message to advertisers last week. And he was promising that Twitter wasn't going to become, quote, a free-for-all hellscape. And he also announced that he was going to be convening a content moderation council. So he's not making any changes to the censorship or the moderation until after this council convenes. So a lot has been made of the fact that he doesn't want to engage in a lot of censorship or bias censorship. But what restrictions do you think Musk might approve going forward?
Well, I have a suspicion that he'll approve restrictions on people just dropping the N-bomb left and right.
Yeah.
Now, that's what I think will happen. That's what I think the restrictions we'll see is obvious hate speech. And I'm not using that in the way the left uses it. I'm using it in the, like, you only say this if you hate someone, legitimately hateful speech, like, you know, racial slurs and stuff like that. There's no, they serve no legitimate function in language beyond trying to offend someone or trying to hurt someone. So that's hate speech. And I can't imagine that he's going to say, what the heck, go for it. Especially because that would be the free for all hellscape he's saying it's not going to be, right? So I'm guessing that we're not going to see any changes for a little while. It's going to take time. He's going to let his little committee do their job. Things like racial slurs, just slurs in general, any sort of derogatory things based on gender, sexuality, whatever, is probably going to be a no-go, as it currently is and as it should be. And but then everything else is going to be okay. There won't be all of this, and I don't know if you want to touch on this a little bit later on or what, but misinformation things, it's like, oh, well, you can't disagree with the accepted narrative or you're lying. It's propaganda. This is, it's misinformation. We got to stop the spread of this. So I suspect that is gone. And who knows? There might be a Trump return to Twitter.
Yeah, there could be. I mean, he did say that he was going to be letting some people back on. Now, Trump did say that he wasn't interested. I don't believe him. This is Trump. So yeah, Trump and Twitter go together like peanut butter and jelly. So
yeah. Well, most of his responses have been that he's not leaving Truth Social. Right. I'm staying on Truth Social. I'm not leaving Truth Social. Well, I mean, most people that are on social media are on more than one platform. Like that doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to come back to Twitter.
That's exactly true. And I think what people are missing here, some intentionally, some unintentionally, is that Musk is running a business here, right? So the whole idea that he's going to let the platform become Nazified is absurd because most of Twitter's revenue comes from advertisers. And I know he wants to move more to a subscription model, but it wouldn't be good business to allow these extreme slurs and stuff like that to proliferate. It wouldn't make any sense. But I think the real concern on both sides is what you brought up, the misinformation. I don't think we have to worry about the race stuff, but as far as what's going to be allowed to be posted, people on the right are concerned about biased censorship, being able to express views that go against the Democrat-approved narrative. On the left, that's exactly what they're afraid of because they liked having this supremacy over the platform. So what about the misinformation here? How do you think that's going to play out in this whole thing?
Well, I think there are two kinds of I'm sure you could get more specific, but generally speaking, I think there are two kinds of misinformation, or what the left calls misinformation. One is obvious crackpot theories that's actually misinformation. Mm-hmm. And hey, there's a valid debate, I suppose, on whether or not that should be allowed. But I could certainly see the argument that, what else is social media for other than just posting pictures of puppies and saying hi to your grandma, right? But then the other, which I don't think anyone, even an inch right of center, thinks should be banned, is the so-called misinformation that's just basically disagreeing with Democrats, as we were talking about earlier. And unfortunately, a great deal of things that are marked as misinformation or that are fact-checked and they've got the little fact-checker thingy under them is either satire, which needs to just be left alone.
Yes.
Or it's just the unpopular opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think we're going to see ban that. I think that's going to loosen up.
I think so too, because that's basically what Musk said he wants to do. And even in that letter to advertisers, he said he doesn't want it to be a free-for-all, but he does want it to be a public square where people can express whatever opinions that they want to express. I mean, I think we won't, if he does what he says he's going to do, we won't have to worry about issues like Twitter suppressing a Hunter Biden type story that would be damaging to Democrats purely for political purposes.
That's misinformation, politically speaking, because they don't like it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And I think that's why progressives are mad about it, because their definition of misinformation is anything that we don't like.
Yeah, pretty much. And you've got to know jokes and satire are on the docket, maybe because, I mean, look, the man walked into the headquarters carrying a sink, recorded it, and posted it with the caption, "Let that sink in." As you put it earlier, we were talking, you put it, he took over Twitter with a dad joke. So, I mean,
he sure did.
I think those of us who enjoy some good satire or may partake of some satire from time to time, I think the reins are about to loosen for us.
I think so too. I mean, assuming that Musk says what he's going to do, but I'm sure we're all excited to see what Musk does with Twitter, and we'll be definitely keeping an eye on it, especially myself, your favorite Twitter addict. But until then, thanks for joining the program, Jim.
Hey, thanks, Jeff.
And remember, the show is proudly sponsored by LibertyNation.com, where you can access podcasts, breaking news and analysis, and a range of biting and brilliant shows to whet your appetite for freedom and your fondness for the great American Constitution. Just go to LibertyNation.com on your browser, or hit Rumble, YouTube, or check out our Liberty Nation News Roku channel. I'm Jeff Charles. Thanks for watching. This program is a production of LibertyNation.com, where truth is making a comeback.
Entertaining, informative, and just plain fun. Watch Liberty Nation's The Conservative 5. Produced by conservatives for conservatives. C5's The Left Free Zone. Hosted by Liberty Nation's Lisa K. Donner. Joined by a raucous, irreverent panel of authors. Deconstructing leftist narratives. Debating the hot topics. And remembering to laugh. Join the official conservative safe space.
You only did that to piss Jeff off.
Liberty Nation's The Conservative 5.